Hey guys, it's me, Sarah, and I am back here with a video about Lapland. The reason why most people want to go to Finnish Lapland is obviously to see the Northern Lights. It's on everyone's travel bucket list, and I must say, I completely get it. Because no matter how many times I've seen it now, I still love it every single time because every single time is different, and to see the people's reactions to it is just amazing. So in this video, I will be sharing all my tips to see the Northern Lights and to get a better chance of seeing it, but also how to get the best possible photographs. This is a skill that I have perfected by now to get the perfect family portrait of my clients who I am guiding. If you didn't know, I am a tour guide in Lapland, and the pictures are turning out so well. Okay, so let's get into it. How good you see the Northern Lights, or if you see it at all, will depend on a couple of things. The first thing is how much north you are located. Usually, the higher up north, the better you can see it. The second factor to take into account is how cloudy it is. So if it's gonna be 100% cloudy, you won't be able to see it no matter how far north you are. Then it's actually possible to see it more south. So yeah, a lot will depend on the weather. Something else you might take into account is the amount of days or nights that you are staying. The more nights, simply the more chance you have of seeing it, which doesn't mean that you can't see it when you're only spending 3 nights and that you will most definitely see it when you're spending 7. You can still not see it when you're spending 7 and still see it when you're spending 3 nights. It is something you really can't control, but in general, the more nights, the more chance you have. Something else that has an impact on how well you can see it is the moon. The fuller the moon is, the brighter it is, which means that there is some light pollution going on, so the darker the night, the better. And then last but not least, and this is the most important thing, you can have all of the previous factors, but if you don't have this one, you simply will not see it. And it is the KP index. Now, what is a KP index? It is a scale from 0 to 9 that describes the disturbance of the Earth's magnetic field by the solar wind. And you still might not really know what that means exactly just by me describing it right now. Basically, on the sun there are explosions going on, it's a huge star, and there is a solar wind coming from the sun all the way through our planetary system. And the magnetic field of our planet is the weakest on the poles, so both the North Pole and the South Pole. There, these particles that are inside the solar wind will be able to get into our atmosphere. When they do that, they will have a chemical reaction which causes these colors to be seen in the air. So, whether or not you will be able to see the Northern Lights will depend on how many of those particles are entering into the atmosphere and are having this chemical reaction. So, the KP index is an indicator of how strong the Northern Lights will be visible. Usually, you can start seeing the Northern Lights from KP3, but anything going up from that will be great. If you're really lucky, you can even see it when the KP isn't as high, but that will depend on the factors that I've mentioned previously. To keep an eye on these factors that I have mentioned, mainly the cloudiness and the KP index, I recommend you download the Aurora Forecast app. I prefer saying Northern Lights to Aurora, but anyway, that is the name of the app, and it is really good at predicting when in the upcoming weeks there will be Northern Lights, or at least a higher chance of it. It also predicts the cloudiness and the KP level per hour of the day that you are, which means that in the morning you can already see quite good if there will be a chance or not. There is also a great map, and as soon as you are in the green zone, it is likely that you will be able to see the Northern Lights. Okay, so once you've seen that it is very likely that the Northern Lights will be going on, it is time to go to the right place to see it. This is a place with little to no light pollution and preferably not a lot of obstacles in the way. For example, a lake that is slightly outside of the city center. Why a lake? Well, because you will have a big surface without any trees in the way. It's also important to be looking towards the north. So place yourself on the side of the lake which is looking north. However, when you are there and you are looking north, make sure to look around every now and then, because this one group I was with, I had seen the northern lights in the northern direction every single time before. So we were looking in the northern direction. And all of a sudden, from the corner of my eye, I saw something green. So I saw, oh, okay, northern lights are coming up right there. And I followed it like this. And all of a sudden, I saw that it was going on behind us. So obviously, I screamed to my group that they had to turn around and look behind us. But so look in northern direction, but make sure to look around. Sometimes what I do is just to lay on my back so that I have every single angle at once. And especially when the northern lights are going on and it's going on in different places, it's a very good position to be able to see everything. Chances are though that if it is coming up, that you won't see it right away. So it will start out as a blur. It looks like a cloud or a mist that doesn't have any color at all. If you see this and you're wondering, could it be the start of northern lights? You can use your camera to see if it is or if it isn't, because the camera can pick up the color a lot earlier than your eyes can. So let's talk you through the camera settings and other things that are important to get a good picture. There are 3 things about the camera that you need to adjust. The first thing is the shutter speed. Shutter speed is basically how long the lens stays open. It's like an eye, so the longer you keep it open, the more it will see and the more light it will capture. So the shutter speed you will set to a couple of seconds. This long shutter speed will also capture a lot of movement in the picture, which means that you will need a tripod to set it up so that your camera itself doesn't move. Aside from that, whatever is in the picture, like people and stuff, will need to be very still and not move. This is a bit harder if you have clouds moving. If you have clouds moving, only put it to 3 seconds or maybe even less, because otherwise it'll be very blurry. Okay, so put your shutter speed to a couple of seconds. You can even go up to 10 or 15 seconds. Just make sure that whatever is in frame is perfectly still. The second one is aperture. Aperture or f-stop, I'm not gonna go too much into detail, but just put it as low as possible. And the third thing is ISO. And if you're already putting the shutter speed and the aperture in manually, you can just put the ISO on automatic. Okay, so that is that. With this, you will already be able to get a good picture from the northern lights. If it's too dark, it might be difficult for your camera to focus, so try and find a light in the distance to focus on and then take a picture. It'll be a lot easier if you have subjects in your picture to focus on. But have a look at this picture. This is a family portrait with the right settings of the camera. Well, that is the right settings to see the northern lights. But as you can see, the night was very dark and you couldn't see the family in the picture at all. So, to make sure that you do see them, you will need the flashlight of your cell phone. Don't leave it on all the time because people will get annoyed. It has to be as dark as possible. So what you will do is when you start taking the picture and it's taking the picture over a couple of seconds, that's when you will turn your flash on and off very quickly, just to light up the people inside of the picture. During the darkest seconds, it'll then also pick up the light from the northern lights. And that will give you this result. And that is the perfect family or couples portrait, or even a selfie. I am shooting on a Canon M50, but previously I also took the pictures with my Canon G7X Mark II, and they turn out great as well. I'm a really big fan of Canon and the results are really nice. The northern lights is not a constant thing. It'll come in waves. So it'll be stronger 1 minute and then the next you'll think, oh, I think it's gone. So a couple of times when I was at the lake with a group, we thought, okay, we've seen it, we've taken the pictures and it was great. And now it seems to dim down, so let's go back to the hotel. And as we got back on the road, it exploded. Like, it got so much stronger. And that has been the case many, many times. Like, just when you think it's done, it'll come back even stronger. So if you do have patience, and for the northern lights, you will need quite a bit of patience, then it's always good to just Say 5 more minutes, maybe 10. And keep checking your Aurora forecast app all of the time because it'll show you if it gets any stronger the next 5 minutes. But still, the best way to see if it does is with your own eyes. Until now, I have been able to see it with every single group except for one that was only staying for 4 days. The majority of groups are staying 3 to 4 nights or sometimes even 7 nights. So the people who stay 7 nights have almost double the chance to see it. But my last group who stayed 7 nights only saw it on the last night and it was so cloudy. We saw it through a gap in the clouds. And aside from that, we just saw a lot of green clouds. Also, the color of the northern lights isn't as green as it is on the pictures, like that's quite bright. But that's because of the shutter speed that takes up all of the color and all of the light. That's not to say that you don't see any color at all, you definitely do. Sometimes it's even pink or purple, especially going towards KP5. I once saw it at KP5 and my mind was blown. It moved so fast, it was everywhere. The colors, it was insane. It was like nothing I had seen before. And everyone was screaming. People were falling on their backs, screaming, because it was just out of this world. And that's the moment that I realized what the saying, not believing your eyes, comes from. Because in that moment, I couldn't believe my eyes. Like, it didn't seem real. So yeah, when you're going to Lapland, I wish you a lot of luck. And I hope that you're able to apply all of these tips and that you get great pictures. Aside from that, enjoy the activities. You don't have to go to Lapland just to see the northern lights. There is so much more to enjoy. And during December and start of January, there is also the phenomenon called Camos. The sky is constantly stuck in sunrise and sunset. So this creates the most beautiful colors in the sky. And to me, this is just as beautiful as the northern lights. So don't be sad if you don't see the northern lights. It's a possibility that you don't, but there is just so much more to enjoy. Alright, I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you liked it. And if you did, make sure to give it a like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification so that you don't miss any of the next videos. Because I still have videos of Lapland coming up. And from March until June, I will be in Africa. And I'm so excited. I can't wait to be back. I have so many amazing things planned, especially South Africa. I can't wait to be back. I've already spent 3 months doing an internship there and it's like my second home. I fell in love with Cape Town. And if you don't want to miss that, make sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!